This is my research project of Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. Jesmyn Ward was born April 1st, 1977 in Oakland, California. She graduated from Stanford University and the University of Michigan. She is a writer, editor, memoirist, and educator who has experience working at various institutions, including Random House Publishing, the University of New Orleans, the University of South Alabama, Tulane University, and the University of Mississippi. Some socio-historical context. Um, at the time of Salvage the Bones, or the time that it takes place, um, Hurricane Katrina was on its way to making landfall in New Orleans and different parts of Mississippi. Hurricane Katrina was a Category 5 hurricane that made landfall in late August 2005. It claimed more than 8,000 lives over the course of a week and has since been deemed one of the costliest, if not the costliest, natural disaster in American history. Damage was mainly kept to New Orleans and Mississippi, but the after effects and a lot of the effects of the hurricane were felt all through the Gulf of Mexico. Something else that was also going on and is still going on to this day is the modern segregation. People of color, specifically African Americans, that live in the South are susceptible to the brunt of natural disasters. The regions that they live in yearly receive threats of hurricanes and tropical storms throughout the months of March and September. Most places become quickly set up homes that lack structure where quantity is prioritized as opposed to quality and strength of the homes. My research question is, how does Esh's reaction to real world problems depict ideas of motherhood in young, impoverished communities during the early 2000s? Since my thesis is in Salvage the Bones, Jesmyn Ward showcases Esh's response to real world challenges, highlighting the complexities of motherhood, portraying pregnancy as a time of resilience and acceptance, and birth as a moment of unity during Hurricane Katrina. Claim number one. Through Esh's answer to real world problems in Salvage the Bones, Jesmyn Ward highlights the complexity of motherhood, revealing resilience and acceptance as Esh struggles through her pregnancy. Primary evidence and reasoning number one. My evidence, if you want to read it, and then my reasoning or analysis is how Ash's internal monologue encapsulates her reluctance to accept the reality of her impending motherhood. This reluctance stems from a combination of fear and uncertainty, and perchance a lack of readiness as she has to face her pregnancy amidst Hurricane Katrina. Ash's hesitation to communicate her feelings to Skeet highlights the complexity of her emotions, as she feels accepting herself would mean accepting the weakness that comes along with the pregnancy. This is something that she feels would lead to others to look down on her and take pity on her, as she is the only woman in the entire household, especially when Hurricane Katrina is right around the corner, and that is when they need to be strengthening themselves and the home most. Another quote that I have from the book is whatever that is. And my analysis is Ash's behavior provides profound insight on her struggle with vulnerability. The imagery of pushing against the water, which withstands like dense pearls like fat, symbolizes her internal resistance against exposure and vulnerability. This is pronounced tenfold when she is with her brother Skeeta as she struggles with her body. She does not want to show vulnerability, especially with someone closer to her age and somebody that she confides and trusts in, especially as, again, Hurricane Katrina is right around the corner, and she does not want to feel like everybody has to take pity on her just because of the way that she is now, and she is not comfortable with the way that she is. Um, a, a secondary source that I found was on Salvage the Bones was the literary criticism, and which read whatever, well, and the excerpt excerpt focuses on a thematic pattern among the works of female African American writers that pregnancy is the challenge to identity. Ash's journey is a reflection of decades of survival and refusal of their strength put on African American women. She is embodying the intersectionality of race, class, and gender as she quite literally holds the potential for destruction. And yeah, despite all this, she's able to push back, showing everyone the utmost importance of a resilient woman, especially in times of hardship. My claim number two is through X's reaction to world challenges and Salvage the Bones, Jasmine Ward emphasizes the complexities of motherhood, displaying unity through birth amidst Hurricane Katrina. Primary evidence and reasoning number two. There's my quote. Um, this quote reflects a societal expectation for a soon-to-be mother, Ash, to have a father slash parental figure, a singular parental figure for her baby. Big Henry's response challenges this idea of a singular father figure, illuminating the vast amount of support for the child. Despite devastation and uncertainty all around them, Ash's heartfelt response to Big Henry's affirmation pushes along that the storm and pregnancy were tough times that were turned to renew and strengthen familial bonds among the characters, friends, and family, and that the unity allows for a community to be built around them that will be there for Ash and her baby. This is my second piece of evidence. And my analysis reads, the flashback allows for insight into the current familial bond. Ash's initial thought on her father's construction of their house is as a gesture of love from one significant other to another. Despite the lack of a traditional father figure in the house, the passage shows interconnectedness as everyone interweaves himself in order to survive. With juxtaposed values between Daddy and Ski, they're still able to do what they need for who they love whenever the need arises and whenever they choose that they are, whenever they feel that they are able to do so. uh, I already went through. Okay. A secondary source that I found was one talking about racism and a kind of a disparity between classes before and after Hurricane Katrina. And my reasoning reads this. This expert pushes forward that Ash, who falls under the marginalized in almost all the categories, has community barriers set up that she must face. These barriers that perpetuate socioeconomic disparities are meant to limit resources slash opportunities. These have been in place long before Katrina and were still in place after. In spite of this, Ash, like China and her mother, accepted her motherhood and allowed herself to overcome these barriers through bonds that she had to figure out if they were strengthened or cut during times of despair. My overall concluding thoughts is that Ash's portrayal of pregnancy and birth during Hurricane Katrina's are tools that Jasmine Ward utilizes to show how moments of hardship and despair can double as a time to strengthen and unite oneself and familial bonds. These times are a pathway for many people like Ash and the marginalized to be able to provide a way for themselves and the people around them to stand out and succeed or exceed the expectations and barriers put on them, especially after something like Hurricane Katrina. And then my works cited, which you can be able to click on, and then my presentation, which you should already be clicking on right now, or which you click to watch.